Welcome to the Productivity Show podcast, where we believe that you can get the important things done without having to sacrifice your health, family, and things that matter to you. My name is Tam Pham. I'm the founder and CEO of Agent Efficiency, where we help people become more productive at work and in life. Today is another Wisdom Wednesday episode where you're going to get actionable productivity advice in less than 10 minutes. Today's topic is about the weekly review. Like many of you, I studied GTD, or Getting Things Done by David Allen. I started back in 2007 reading this book for the first time. And out of the 5 steps in GTD, I've always found that the weekly review is the hardest one to implement. And you're probably realizing the same thing. As you're studying and implementing GTD, capturing is oftentimes easy, but doing the weekly review and doing it consistently is oftentimes the biggest struggle. And I used to deal with that myself. I tried doing the weekly review every Thursday when I first learned about it, and it never stuck with me because I was always busy doing other things. And then I tried to do it on a Friday, where every Friday I would go over my next actions, making sure my projects are up to date, clearing my inbox, making sure everything was captured. And I never really got to it. It always took me like 45 minutes to an hour. And once I realized how long it would take me to get this all done, I was never able to stay consistent with it because I had so many other things going on, especially at that time when I was working in corporate America. There was just a lot of things happening at that time where I was just so busy that I couldn't allocate an hour of my time to do a weekly review. And I never felt like an immediate impact right away, because when you miss a weekly review, you don't feel any sort of negative consequences immediately from skipping it. And it's not until much later when you realize that when you skip a weekly review that you pay a price for it. So I kept trying different things to figure out how can I make my weekly review consistent. And what I realized is every Sunday, I always had that day off. There was nothing on my calendar. It was always free. And so I tried, you know what? In the book, David Allen talks about how he typically does his weekly review on Fridays. That didn't really work for me. So I had to figure out another day that worked for me. And it turns out that Sunday was the best day for me. There was simply nothing on my calendar. So I tried it out. And lo and behold, it took me about an hour and a half or so to go through my inbox, all my projects, rewriting my actions, making sure I had next actions, and going through that process of doing a weekly review. And I was so happy when I first did it, when it actually went through. And when I did it again the week after that, I felt very accomplished. I was a little bit fast at it as well. And then I kept doing it, and I noticed because I was doing it on Sundays when I typically had nothing else going on, I was much more consistent with my weekly review. And since 2007, when I learned about GTD, I've always done a weekly review every single Sunday at 3 o'clock or at 6 o'clock at the latest if I had a conflicting schedule coming up. One of the things we teach at Agent Efficiency and that we truly believe in is the idea of Kaizen, making consistent improvements over time. It's also one of our core values here at the company. I am a true believer that when you make small, consistent changes over time, that you are going to get big, great results. And doing a weekly review every single week is one of those things where when you do it consistently every single week, you're going to get big results. For me, it turns out that I'm able to accomplish a lot more things. I'm procrastinating a lot less. It's easier for me to focus. I find it a lot more friction-free to be able to get started on the things that need to be done. And I also feel like I'm on top of everything. Part of the weekly review is that you also look back at the past week and see, what did I learn this week? What are some of the mistakes that I've made? And what is an adjustment that I can make for this upcoming week? And one of the things we always like to say is 1 tweak a week. If you can do that, that leads to 52 changes by the end of the year. If you think about your life, if you make 52 improvements in your life, that's huge. That's significant. That can make a drastic positive impact on your life. And it all starts by doing a weekly review where you look back at the past week, get up to speed, and make a plan and an adjustment to make the next week better off than it was last week. And that's the whole purpose behind a weekly review. And the first time you do it, it might take a little bit of time. For me, it took about an hour and a half. Nowadays, when I do it, it takes me about 30 minutes to do. So the more you do it, the faster you get at it, okay? So what I would like you to do is schedule your weekly review on a day that you're not busy. So for me, it was Sunday. For you, it could be another day. Find that 30-minute slot on your calendar and make it a repeating event. Go do that right now and try to do your weekly review every single week and get better at it every single week. You'll start to notice that if you can make one tiny adjustment every single week, you'll see significant changes happening in your life for the better. That's it for the Productivity Show. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you next time.